none of the guys in front of me wanted to really fly out to Sydney.
Hmm. Was there
Big
anyone
fly for them.
that it looked close? Was there any talks of someone that, that it seemed like maybe you'd get that fight?
I mean, not really. None of the guys in front of me. We started, me and not the UFC never came to us, but me and Tim started floating the idea. I didn't mind the idea of fighting Carlos Prates.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, why not? Like, he's an up and comer. Gilbert gave me the opportunity. I've had a year off. So I was probably ready to step in and fight him. I like his style. But then the UFC, the first fight they came to me, they said, do you want to fight Leon in London? And I just thought, yeah, let's just take the fight. It's a big fight, former champion. Gives me an extra few weeks to assure that the arm's strong, and had to jump on it.
Okay, yeah, I was just going to ask then, what was your reaction? I would imagine maybe it softened the blow of not being on Sydney and Perth to get the headline 0-2 against former champion Leon Edwards in his backyard. That's a massive spot for you, right? So I would imagine you're feeling better about things.
Yeah, for sure. It's a big spot. I like London. My coach is from London. Leon, former champion, headlining a card it's a big one for me. I'm excited, and it's a perfect fight to set up a good year. If I can take out the former champion in impressive fashion, then I think it lines up.
I remember,
big fight.
I remember when Tim Simpson, manager to the Stars, was in our studio right after he announced the launch of his own agency, the Chosen Advisory Group, and he said, we're a boutique agency, and we like to have just one athlete in every division. There is one division though where we have two, and it's welterweight. It's Leon and Jack, and so now here he is with two of his guys, and I know he loves both of you very much, fighting each other. Any truth to the rumor that Tim tried to deter you guys from fighting so he wouldn't be caught in between?
Nah, no truth to it. I think it's the first fight that Tim was offered. I think in the back of his mind, he's always thought it could happen, Two top welterweights. He was obviously hoping Leon would be the champion for a few years, and hopefully I was coming up into that championship contention, I guess, while he was champion. But yeah, so he's always thought it was going to happen. But no, I think it was the first fight that came across. I think he sort of knew they could hit him with that one, and yeah, I think he was ready for it. But I think it just makes sense. It makes sense for Leon. It makes sense for me. So
yeah.
And I think it's a good fight. Two strikers.
Oh, it's a fantastic
headlining
fight.
a big card.
Fantastic fight. I don't know if you look at these things, but you're the favorite. You're the betting favorite going into the fight. Did you know this?
No, I didn't. But
you
know what? I don't really take too much from that. I guess that the betting, they just look at the last performances, and a lot of people think Leon didn't really show up in the last performance. So I guess that's where that's from.
Were you surprised by that result against Belal?
Not necessarily. Leon sort of tends to stand back a bit, and Belal is always going to be the sort of guy that's going to push a solid pace. So I think, I wasn't super surprised, but
okay. So you were actually thinking Belal was going to win?
Oh, maybe no. I didn't really have a pick, to be honest. I personally, I thought Leon would be the more crisp striker than Belal and maybe be able to land some good strikes, but no, it didn't happen. But I wasn't surprised. I was just sort of, I honestly don't really know what to expect in fights. I guess anyone can win,
Have they told you that if you beat Leon in March that you would be next, that you would get the winner of Shavkat versus Belal?
No, they haven't said that. I think no. I think their plan is to make this sort of like a title contention fight, but I guess they never lock anything in because I think it's very much performance based as well.
Yeah,
in my opinion, I think if I go in there and have a close split decision win over Leon, and then someone else has a big performance, they might put them in front of me.
Has that like crossed your mind? Like, let me go in there, do something great, and I become number one contender? Do you think it's a possibility for you?
I think so, yeah. I think I want to go in there and prove a point, prove a point that I could do to Leon what Belal couldn't do. and
Okay.
then secure the shot.
Yeah, man, it's going to be hostile there. You like that? You like being the guy that everyone's rooting against? You're a pretty mild-mannered guy, so I'm
Yeah.
I'm wondering how you're going to feel about being like booed vociferously.
No, it doesn't bother me. I fought and my opponents got booed, so you know what? It's just something that you got to be. Yeah, it is what it is. Doesn't bother me at all.
Can I ask Shavkat Belal, who do you like in that one?
It's an interesting fight. I'm not sure. I think Bilal's had. I think Shavkat will get him. I think just maybe too. Yeah, maybe too aggressive, too much of a solid finishing ability. But then, even in his last fight, he didn't really show that side of his fighting style. So I'm not sure. I think maybe the wrestling will be. It might stay on the feet. I think the wrestling might counteract each other, and then I think Belal might get him. To be honest, I think Belal might just be able to. He has an awkward style, and he might just be able to. Yeah, I think Belal actually might beat him.
I think a
And that's
lot.
just based on Shavkat's last performance.
I was
And
just
I
going to
know it's
say that.
hard because
No,
Gary is a tall striker, so it's a different sort of matchup. But I think Belal does have a good chance to beat Shavkat.
my read on the situation is a lot of people going into the Gary fight thought Shavkat was going to roll through Gary and then roll through Belal. Oh my God, he's going to get to Belal and he's the boogeyman. And then after that performance with Ian taking him the distance and hanging in, that a lot of people have now switched over to Belal, that they feel like Shavkat isn't as tough. And I don't know if that feels kind of disrespectful towards Ian because maybe they didn't feel like he could hang with someone like Shavkat. But I've noticed a lot of people now picking Belal against Shavkat when they weren't doing so a couple months ago.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think obviously, yeah, I think everyone just sort of it's the last performance is sort of what you've done for me recently. Business. Everyone just looks at the last performance. But I could see how both. Yeah, it's an interesting fight. I'm interested to see how it goes
Um, just
plays out.
just curious, seeing all these guys fight over the last few months, and Brady's moving up, and Buckley's moving up, and Ian's doing his thing, and Shavkat. Were you worried that you were going to be forgotten about? Like, are you itching to get back in there to remind everyone who JDM is?
Yeah, I'm itching to get back in there for sure. For sure, yeah, and I think it's good for the division. It's really opening up. There's a lot of like moving parts of the division now. I think all in all, it's just a better part. It's better for the division. But yeah, I really want to get back in there, show everyone that I am the man in this division, and yeah, I plan to put on a good performance and secure the title shot.
Before I let you go and go back to being a dad, just curious, were there any talks of Usman and Covington? We saw your name linked to their names. Was there any talk of that before the Leon fight got secured?
A little, yeah, there was talks. I thought for a little bit there, I thought Usman was the man. That I thought I thought I was going to fight Usman. I'd said, yeah. I don't think it was a. I can't remember if if the UFC actually said. I think they made it was talks. I don't think it was ever anything serious. But I did say, yeah, I'm good to fight Usman in Sydney. I thought that would have been good. But then that fell through, and then the real only fight offer I got was the Leon fight.